A sacred gift from heaven, wrapped in glory and marked specifically for your soul, is already moving toward you. And this time, it is not being carried by an ordinary messenger. Archangel Michael himself is guarding its arrival. Why would Michael descend personally? Because what is coming is no ordinary blessing. This is the rare breakthrough powerful enough to shatter generations of pain. The turning point capable of redirecting the course of your entire existence. The very thing you believed would never belong to you because year after year nothing seemed to change. Yet now, the door is finally opening. But heaven is waiting for your agreement before it fully reaches you. Your spirit must accept it. Once before, an opportunity nearly entered your life, but hesitation caused it to disappear. This moment cannot end the same way. Michael's message is direct and unmistakable. Tonight, joy will overwhelm those who truly receive these words. Some will fall to their knees in disbelief because the change arriving is that real. God delayed this gift until you developed the strength to carry its weight. And now, according to heaven, you are finally prepared. Do not mistake this for entertainment. Heaven never releases blessings without responsibility attached to them. What appears to be congratulations is also a warning from above. If fear controls your response, you may lose what was meant to elevate you. But if faith opens the door, everything changes. Inside this divine delivery is something that almost feels impossible. There is a person who has carried thoughts of you in silence for a long time yet never found the courage to speak. Your name has remained written on a door closed for years, but that barrier is beginning to move. The grief that once consumed your nights will fade so completely that eventually you may forget why you cried at all. Then comes the whisper from God. This is why the waiting existed. This is why the pain made you stronger. What approaches your life now is not temporary. It was never designed to disappear again. The truth is simple. What is coming could destroy someone unprepared for it, but you are no longer who you once were. Heaven recognizes the difference. That is why Michael appeared. Not for amusement, not for comfort alone. He came to announce a shift already decided. Tomorrow morning, the pressure pressing against your chest will feel lighter. The emptiness inside your heart will not remain the same because something spiritual has already been unlocked. No longer will you believe God ignored your cries. The message insists that your agreement matters. Your heart opening matters. Heaven interprets acceptance as alignment. The moment your soul says yes, movement begins in the unseen realm. The declaration continues. 7 angels now stand gathered around your name. Songs of celebration echo across heaven because what was decided concerning your future has already been approved. Yet among those angels, one carries sorrow. That angel remembers every moment you nearly surrendered. Every silent breakdown, every lonely prayer whispered in darkness. They fear that after surviving all of it, you still may refuse to believe what is finally arriving, so do not dismiss this moment carelessly. This message is described as your scroll, your golden letter. The long-delayed delivery is complete at last. All heaven asks now is for you to open your heart long enough to receive it. Tonight feels different because the winds of heaven have changed direction. Everything buried, blocked, broken, delayed, or trapped is beginning to reverse itself. Stop fighting for what already belongs to you. Stop begging people to choose you. Stop waiting in silence, convinced nobody hears your voice. You have been selected to receive what many only dream about. Yet Michael warns that it only manifests when you understand this message is personal, not for the crowd, not for everyone, for you. This exact moment has been watched over carefully by Michael for days, and now the hour has finally arrived. Heaven says only one thing remains necessary: your yes. That agreement does not need to be loud. Even a whisper from deep within your spirit is enough. The instant you surrender and accept, the spiritual world begins moving. At first the shift remains invisible, later it becomes undeniable. People will stop treating you the same way. Unexpected affection and new forms of peace will begin flowing naturally toward your life. Even your thoughts will calm. The inner chaos that once screamed inside your mind will finally become quiet. You are not guided here accidentally. Grace disguised itself as coincidence and carried you into this moment. But now the disguise is disappearing. Still, heaven says you retain the choice to reject it. Ignore the invitation and the opportunity may leave again. Michael himself pleads from the center of heaven. Open the door now. The miracle already bears your name. Your body reacts because your spirit recognizes something unusual unfolding. Deep inside, You already know this moment is different. You have searched long enough, waited long enough, wandered long enough. Now the season changes. What you once believed lost forever is returning in a form more beautiful than you imagined possible, and tonight, happiness moves closer. The sudden emotion rushing through your chest is described as confirmation from the Spirit itself. God is not mocking your expectations. Every heartbreak, every delay, every slammed door had a purpose. It was preparation, positioning. What heaven planned for you was too sacred to hand over casually. Had it arrived earlier, you might have mishandled it. You may have trusted the wrong people, doubted yourself, or let fear destroy it before it could grow. But now you are different. You no longer chase endlessly. You attract naturally. You no longer beg for crumbs. You command your worth, and perhaps most importantly, you no longer settle for less than what your soul deserves. That is why Michael smiles, because heaven's decision has finally become permanent. This blessing will not be withdrawn, yet acceptance must happen now, not tomorrow. This is not random timing. The appointed hour has arrived. Michael explains the delay clearly. Heaven was still preparing people connected to your future. Certain chains remained unbroken. Hidden matters still waited in darkness, but now clarity has arrived. The verdict from heaven has already been spoken. Bless them fully, immediately, without fear, delay, or pain. Before your eyes witness transformation, your soul feels it first. That has always been heaven's order. The Spirit receives the announcement before the physical world catches up. Your soul already dances because it senses something pure approaching. Something strong enough to erase the memory of every lonely night spent staring upward, wondering whether God still remembered your name. Yes, He remembered, and tonight, heaven moves while the world sleeps. Many people ignored their calling and continued scrolling past, but you stayed. According to this message, you were summoned because only a spirit like yours could hold such beauty without collapsing under its weight. Michael declares that you have suffered enough. This is where your reward begins. But understand carefully, this is more than blessing alone. Heaven has issued an announcement over your life. After this moment, you will never return completely to who you used to be. Something inside you has already shifted, and over the coming hours it will begin appearing outwardly. You will notice changes in conversations. Unexpected signs will emerge. Songs, names, repeated numbers, messages, and strange encounters will seem to surround you. The angelic realm no longer feels distant. A heavenly delivery now stands at the edge of your timeline. You can welcome it or reject it once more. Yet Michael warns that ignoring this moment will hurt more deeply than the waiting ever did. Not because God is angry, but because your soul will recognize what it refused. You did not travel this far only to stop one moment before your miracle. Something inside you already knew this encounter carried significance. And now heaven says both sides are finally ready. You are ready to receive instead of cling desperately. Ready to attract instead of chase. Ready to overflow instead of beg. Your hour has arrived. If you embrace what heaven is releasing, the heaviness in your chest begins fading almost immediately. Someone long afraid to speak to you may finally gather courage. Situations frozen for months begin moving again. Financial flow returns from unexpected directions. Even the secret prayer repeated night after night starts showing signs of fulfillment before sleep arrives. Michael insists this is not wishful thinking, it is a declaration. Tonight, according to heaven, joy approaches your life. Belief matters more than performance. You are already enough to receive what is destined for you. The only requirement is presence, and you are here now. Do not sabotage this moment with doubt. Fear attempts to turn you away from what has already been approved. Silence that voice. Your miracle is no longer far away. It waits only for agreement. Heaven has already celebrated. Now the invitation passes to you. The moment capable of changing everything stands directly in front of your life. And when the call arrives, when the message appears, when the blessing finally lands tonight, you will remember this exact moment. Your eyes will widen. Your heartbeat will race. And one thought will echo inside your spirit. I almost walked away from it, but I stayed. And heaven, for that single choice, will continue pouring blessing across the remainder of the year. Breathe slowly now, beloved, because what is unfolding next may feel almost unreal. Archangel Michael says your spirit has finally aligned with the design God created for you before time even began. The season of release has arrived at last, not more waiting. Not more painful lessons, not another season of suffering. The release itself has begun. Do you understand the magnitude of this moment? Right now, you stand inside a promise from God that is actively becoming reality. This is no longer about distant hope or empty words. Movement has already started within the spirit, and your body is beginning to respond to it. The turning point has arrived. You are stepping into the future heaven prepared for you long ago. And this transformation does not stop with you alone. Your breakthrough becomes a pathway others can follow toward their own restoration. Souls still trapped in darkness will eventually find freedom because of what flows through your life. This is not symbolic language. Heaven declares that when giving begins, doors above begin opening. Every seed planted becomes protection over your family, fire for your purpose, and oil poured onto your destiny. Faith releases multiplication. What you surrender returns carrying increase. Now heaven waits for your response. This is the exact moment your agreement must become official. Speak the words from your heart. I receive it now, not someday, not eventually, not maybe in another season, now. Those words become evidence that you are finally ready to possess what was prepared for you. In that instant, you are signaling to God, to heaven, and to Michael that your spirit stands ready to welcome what belongs to your destiny. Something shifts in the unseen realm when those words are spoken. Angels recognize the declaration. Records in heaven are marked. What was delayed begins moving faster. Tonight, doors are already opening in places hidden from your eyes. Conversations about you are happening in rooms you have never entered. Decisions are being made that will move your future forward, and you are never required to force any of it because God does not depend on human effort to prove his power. Trust is all he asks from you. You survived because of faith no one else noticed. Michael saw every hidden battle. He watched you continue smiling while sadness weighed heavily inside. He saw you give strength to others while your own spirit felt empty. Even the silent prayers, whispered only inside your thoughts, were heard clearly in heaven. Now the answer has arrived. This was never uncertain. Before your birth, this exact moment had already been written into your story. Every heartbreak, every abandoned relationship, every closed door, every collapse you endured became preparation for what is finally being released into your hands now. The delivery has started, yet even now fear may attempt to rise again. A voice from your past may whisper, "What if none of this is real? What if nothing changes?" Listen carefully. That voice does not come from God. It is only the shadow of your former pain trying to enter a future where it no longer belongs. Refuse it entry. Close the door on it completely. Because the one hearing these words today is not the same broken person who spent years suffering silently. That version of you has passed away. This version carries blessing, readiness, and permission from heaven to hold something sacred. Michael announces before heaven that you have been examined and found worthy to receive abundance without limits, and what approaches is not partial healing. It is restoration in full. Understand what that means. You will not merely recover what was stolen from you, it returns multiplied. Love unlike anything you have experienced before will enter your life so deeply that memories of abandonment begin fading away. Missed opportunities will return disguised as divine appointments greater than anything you imagined possible. Finances once blocked will begin moving again with such force that generosity toward others will come naturally before you even think about checking what remains for yourself. Peace once believed impossible will wrap around your life like warm golden light refusing to leave. But remain alert, stay spiritually awake and fully present. Miracles rarely arrive with dramatic noise. More often they appear quietly through calmness, certainty, and subtle shifts in energy that only open hearts recognize. And your heart is finally open. That is why this message reached you. Not everyone receives invitations like this. Heaven waited patiently for your spirit to become ready. God whispered long ago, "Wait a little longer. They are almost prepared." Now you are. That is why Michael has remained near you throughout the day. What seemed like coincidence was never coincidence at all. He has been clearing spiritual interference around your life, removing invisible obstacles, cleansing the timeline ahead of you because what is coming carries too much holiness and value to exist beside chaos. This blessing is not temporary. It arrives steadily and remains. One day you will look back and remember this exact season. You will remember that when heaven knocked, you answered. And by choosing faith, something ancient was activated. Think deeply about that. This blessing has waited through generations for someone capable of carrying it with grace. Heaven searched for a soul strong enough not to destroy it through fear or pride. That soul is you. So what happens tonight when your heartbeat suddenly quickens? When your hands grow warm, when an unexpected message appears, when someone finally speaks your name with tenderness again, when money arrives from somewhere you were not even watching, when peace settles over you in the middle of chaos, remember this moment when it happens. That is heaven fulfilling its promise. Michael is delivering what was delayed before you even had a name. Long before your first breath, God was already writing your story. Pay attention to the signs surrounding you. Do not minimize the miracle once it begins unfolding. And do not dismiss this moment as meaningless because you were summoned here intentionally. You were chosen. Tonight, when sleep finally comes, rest with quiet certainty in your heart. Smile knowing you accepted what belonged to you while others continued scrolling past their own calling. You stayed, you listened, you received. That is the completion of the miracle. As the night deepens, you will begin recognizing divine movement taking shape around your life. It may not arrive loudly, it may not happen all at once, but it will be unmistakably real. A message containing words you once prayed desperately to hear may arrive unexpectedly. While doing ordinary things like brushing your hair, preparing tea, or sitting quietly alone, a sudden wave of peace may wash over you. You are not imagining it. Heaven rests upon your spirit now because you finally broke the old pattern. The cycle has ended because, despite fear demanding refusal, you answered yes instead. And heaven notices courageous hearts. Michael remains beside you even now. Throughout the night he continues clearing darkness away, surrounding your atmosphere with protection, and speaking your name before God's throne again and again like a sacred echo. And each time your name is spoken in heaven, things on earth begin shifting. What others struggle for endlessly may begin coming naturally toward you. Understanding arrives effortlessly, locked pathways swing open. Delayed opportunities suddenly move ahead of schedule because time itself bends when a soul finally aligns with divine timing. And your soul has aligned now. Things once requiring years may unfold within hours. The blessing entering your life truly is this powerful. It is not too late either. Heaven waited because you were worth waiting for. Michael says the command has already been given. Release everything. Hold nothing back. And so the pouring begins. Some observers will call it luck because the blessings arrive gracefully and steadily. But deep within yourself, you will know it is something greater. This is legacy. Not only your prayers are being answered, but also the prayers spoken by those who came before you, ancestors, grandparents, loved ones watching from heaven. Tears were shed for your future long before you understood the battle yourself. Now they witness this moment unfolding and whisper joyfully, they accepted it. They received it. It is complete. That is why the atmosphere around you feels different. That is why the heaviness in your chest has begun fading. That is why tears now rise in your eyes. You are not simply hearing words. You are awakening inside your own destiny. An ancient promise is becoming reality. Never again beg for scraps of affection. Never again wonder whether anyone sees your pain. Heaven heard every prayer. Heaven saw every hidden wound. And now the reward arrives, not because you were flawless, not because you possessed every answer, but because even when nothing made sense, you still chose belief. That is what heaven treasures most. And because of that faith, this extraordinary blessing now moves toward your life. There is no need to chase after it. You do not have to exhaust yourself earning it. Your acceptance is enough. Simply say, "Yes, God, I receive it. This time I will not walk past what belongs to me." The instant those words rise from your spirit, something opens above you. You may never see it with physical eyes, but your soul will feel it immediately. The tears coming next will not come from sadness. They will rise from divine remembrance because your spirit will suddenly recognize what has been happening all along. You are no longer standing outside the promise waiting for permission. You have already stepped inside it, so continue forward. You do not need to understand every step ahead. Keep your spirit gentle. Keep your heart open. Remain aware because signs are already appearing around you. A familiar name returns unexpectedly. A line from a song reaches directly into your soul. Morning arrives and somehow you feel lighter even though circumstances appear unchanged. That is how miracles begin, not through thunder, through whispers. And tonight, that whisper transformed into a promise fulfilled. So rest now, beloved. Sleep peacefully tonight with a quiet smile resting on your face. Release the tension from your body now because heaven will continue completing its work while you rest tonight. By the time tomorrow arrives, the shift will already be moving forward before your eyes even open. You will sense the morning differently. Before waking fully, something inside you will already recognize that change has happened. There will be no thunder crashing across the sky. No lightning tearing through the darkness. No loud announcement demanding attention, yet deep within yourself, you will know. You will recognize it because your spirit will finally become still in a way it has never experienced before. Peace will settle over your thoughts. Calmness will reach your chest. Even the heavy question haunting you for months will suddenly lose its grip. Silence, rest, relief. Then you will understand that the previous night became the turning point because something sacred was completed while you slept. During those hours of rest, an angel remained beside you. Archangel Michael stayed near your spirit, guarding the atmosphere around your dreams. Darkness was pushed back, old spiritual attachments were untied. Ancient truth was spoken quietly into your heart while you slept. Heaven prepared the space ahead of you for what today would bring. So when the air suddenly feels softer, when calmness surrounds you without explanation, do not dismiss it as emotion alone. That feeling is evidence. This is how God moves, quietly, accurately, perfectly. He does not require explosions to reveal his power. He does not wait for public approval before blessing someone. When heaven decides the time has come, it simply happens. Even now, assistance from heaven surrounds you. Perhaps you still feel uncertain. That is acceptable. Maybe visible proof has not appeared yet. That is also acceptable. But your soul already understands something your eyes have not fully caught up to yet. Your guardian angels know it clearly. The spiritual world surrounding your life recognizes it too. A light now radiates from you that was absent before. Your spirit carries awakening. And as this awakening continues growing, understand something important. Supporting a mission that spreads light is not meaningless. Heaven sees generosity as movement toward purpose. Every act of giving becomes light battling darkness. When you refresh others, heaven refreshes you in return. Jesus taught that giving unlocks living promises connected to your future. Faith combined with action creates movement according to divine timing. Right now, heaven waits for a declaration from your spirit. Say it boldly, my breakthrough is here, not coming someday. Not approaching eventually, here. The moment words leave your mouth and agreement follows through your actions, they become spiritual truth. More is happening than a simple message reaching your ears. You are participating directly in your destiny. Every force that tried delaying your progress hears that declaration. Every locked entrance receives a command to open. Your own spirit becomes alert to what God is doing around you. Something changes after that. People may notice a glow around you without understanding its source. Others will feel the difference yet fail to explain it. Let them wonder. Let them whisper among themselves. Because you are no longer standing inside your old season, you crossed into divine favor. And what heaven establishes cannot be stolen, postponed, or denied by human hands. Soon, strange shifts begin appearing around you. Those who once overlooked you suddenly feel drawn back toward your presence. Individuals who ignored your worth start paying attention. People who walked away begin questioning why they ever released you in the first place. Why? Because God is no longer hiding the blessing resting on your life. What Michael placed upon your spirit has become a crown reserved specifically for you. Now comes another instruction. Share light with others. Someone else needs hope. Someone else feels trapped in despair waiting for one sign from heaven. When you pass encouragement forward, the same spiritual strength covering you reaches them as well. Heaven honors people who carry light into another person's darkness. And as this happens, your own breakthrough accelerates. The attacks against your spirit will no longer strike with the same force as before. Fear weakens faster now because your soul has already tasted confirmation. Not proof from the physical world alone, but deeper proof rising from inside. Every seed planted into helping others becomes a torch burning within someone else's night. Heaven works through willing voices, but growth happens through compassionate hearts. Each act of kindness becomes living water flowing toward souls desperate for healing. Give and it shall return to you. That promise was never empty words. It remains alive, shaping futures even now. So step into this moment intentionally. What leaves your hands today through obedience does not disappear. Heaven uses surrender to open new doors above your life. Michael wants you to remember something powerful. Your breakthrough did not begin when the blessing arrived physically. It started the moment you believed such a blessing could truly happen for you. That single thought transformed everything. Faith told heaven you were ready. Heaven responded immediately. Now comes the final opportunity to seal this moment completely within your spirit. Speak Amen with conviction, not quietly, not half-heartedly. Let it carry force strong enough to shake the spiritual world around you. That word becomes agreement between your spirit and heaven itself. It follows you into sleep. It echoes through your dreams. When you say it sincerely, you are not merely commenting on a message. You are making a covenant with what has already been spoken over your life tonight. And if fear returns later, revisit these words again. If exhaustion creeps back in or waiting feels heavy once more, remember this moment because you were never here accidentally. This message descended into your life like a scroll carrying your name upon it. Every sentence was formed with your heart in mind. And once released into your spirit, it cannot return empty. It will accomplish the purpose for which it was sent. Even when your mind struggles to understand fully, heaven continues unfolding what these words unlocked. It already lives inside your spirit now. Act differently from this point forward. Carry yourself like someone protected by God because you always were. The difference is that now you finally recognize it. Tonight was not coincidence. These words became more than comfort. They became confirmation. A sacred mirror reflecting what heaven already decided. What was withheld before is now being released freely. You are entering a season where things begin arriving naturally. Stop begging. Stop forcing outcomes. Stop wrestling endlessly with doubt. Simply receive, grow, bloom, become. The moment your soul finally answered yes, heaven heard it clearly. Michael heard it. Heaven responded immediately. Now all that remains is for you to experience what has already started moving toward your life. And it is moving. You are prepared now. Joy approaches tonight. Before leaving this moment behind, carry light forward to others. Pass these words to people still waiting for proofs that their lives can change too. When hope spreads through your hands, heaven pours blessing back into your own life as well. Those who bring light into another person's darkness never remain empty themselves. And soon, your own testimony will begin unfolding faster than expected. Remember this truth carefully. You did not discover this message by random chance. This was not luck. According to heaven, Michael extended his hand directly toward you, inviting you into alignment with divine abundance that exists as promise rather than fantasy. The principle itself is simple, yet powerful enough to transform an entire life. Blessings do not merely arrive, they multiply when accepted with faith. By opening your spirit fully to this invitation, you step into access that many overlook: guidance, support, clarity, momentum toward your purpose. Do not allow this sacred turning point to pass by unnoticed. Your breakthrough waits directly ahead of you. Walk forward confidently now. Heaven has already spoken. The door is already opening. Your future is already responding. And tonight, as sleep finally reaches your eyes, let peace remain in your heart because abundance has already begun moving in your direction. Carry this message with you. Share hope. Lift someone else. Keep your spirit open to what heaven is unfolding. Your season has changed. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.